everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back with another Twitter thread. I even spelled it right this time. Today we are talking about an ancillary thing. I've said ancillary twice this stream. What's going on? See, Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't just a card game, it's an experience. And frequently that experience means getting up at 4 in the morning to get in the world's dirtiest car with 4 of your smelliest friends and driving to what can only be described as a super spreader event in order to play this game we all hate with other people who hate the game equally. I'm talking about regionals, YCSs, and WCQs. So today I want to talk about some of the best tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh's history and some of the weird things that happened at those tournaments. Stories from you, stories from Myth, and stories that have worked their way into Yu-Gi-Oh! Legend. So, let's see what you got. But first, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, available now on phone or PC. Looking to take a break from Sprite Simulator 2022? Well, look no further than Raid. Instead of 6 playable monsters, they've got over 600 unique champions to upgrade, even beyond the fabled Level 2. But that's not all. Instead of Winda or Toad every game, Raid's got an insane variety of bosses too. Let's put one in the spotlight today, Hellraiser. Hellraiser has a devastating attack that'll charge up over the course of a turn. Knock out his health bar and he'll stumble out of it, fail and you'll be burnt to a crisp. Think of it like interrupting a combo deck, except no Mystic Mind, so you actually have to use some brain cells. This month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including Forge Pass Season 3, with some amazing rewards to offer, including a limited edition artifact set. If that's not enough, Raid's bringing out some new champions, along with some awesome-looking champion skins for the incredible Madame Ceres. And finally, in a Warboy-style rags-to-riches story, the Death Knight, once Raid's most generic, uninspired champion, will be made into a legendary. As someone wholly devoted to memeing support into existence, this is wonderful to see. There's never been a better time to get started. New players use my link or scan the QR code right here and get a free starter pack worth almost $30, a free champion Tayrell, and this cool in-game loot. You'll find these rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. I'm going to begin with the 2019 Vegas YCS. This was the last YCS before COVID hit. It was a 3v3 YCS, and I went with the one and only Alex Simo and Gage Poljak. Alex did okay. I went undefeated, and Gage, I think, went 1-8 over the course of the day, but that was okay because we carried his ass as far as we could. King Scarlet says, I shook Peeps' hand at an Indianapolis regional. I went from my normal amount of socially awkward plus nervousness, I met Dazif and other people I knew, to calmly pondering how one man's hands can be so large. You know that thing on the playground when kids are like, did you know if your hand is bigger than your face, then you're gay? Peeps would just go, damn, I'm gay.
We wish you a yowie Christmas and a semi that's long.
I was a high schooler at my first local, says GCD, around when LVAL released. I was on Baby Raccoons, a classic jank deck. Not surprising GCD's playing it. I 2-0'd a Tellarknight player by opening Obedience Schooled back-to-back. They proceeded to take their deck, windmill slam it into a nearby garbage can, and leave. In their defense, that's probably where Satellar Knight belongs. ICS Edison, 2010, 12-year-old Brent playing Mega Rock Dragon OTK, up against my round 3 or 4 opponent, we're either X2 or X3, hands my butt to me. After the game, he starts talking to me. I'm 12. I'm suspicious of the guy's intent. The guy says, hey, I'm not going to make top cut. How old are you, 12? Listen to me. I'm going to teach you how to play Gladiator Beast. You're going to enter Dragon Duel. You're going to win because you're on Glad, and then we'll split the prize. I'll drop from the tournament, and I'll sign you up. Deal? Me, not trusting anyone I didn't know, turned down the offer. Making an offer like this to a 12-year-old kid, that's beyond low. I'm going to be honest with you, Brent. You should have taken the deal. By far my favorite was my first ever real event, top at the RDIQ. I had to beat Gabe Vargas, and afterwards he tweeted about it. This was classic. Just lost to someone who main decks Dragoon Engine, Gilasaurus, and Solemn Judgment in Dinosaur. Game 1, he skillfully activates Red Eyes Fusion and passes and Dino combos next turn. Game 3, he has Judgment, Pank, Misk, Baby Called By, and rips a Feather Duster for turn. Fun! I once went to a regional and had to pee. A dude in the stall next to me heard me enter and said, hey bro, can you beat this? And let out the nastiest, wettest stream of diarrhea I have ever heard. Most sanitary Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Hi there. How you doing?
Only been to Charlotte, but seeing Stevie Blunder chased around by security and hiding from them every second was hilarious. Hilarious. I will never forget the first remote extravaganza. It was so amazing to have a real event after COVID, and then we started. My friend both lasted until the last round. It was a 13-hour slog that had me losing my mind, and then I bubbled due to a camera crash. I loved the remote duel extravaganza. I wish we could go back to the way we were feeling at that event. Now I'm so jaded on remote play because we have paper again, but it was like everyone going to the same movie that sucks balls. We were happy to go to a movie, but we were ripping into it online. I got Dzeef and I a PE minor at the Remote Duel Extravaganza because I didn't realize I couldn't activate VW cards under Shifter. Getting a PE minor with your favorite content creator. Good. Don't you ever do that shit to me, folks. The first big regional I ever took seriously was Columbus. They had announced the Nightmare Mermaid would be banned, but the day before it went into effect, so it was a very interesting air in the room for a format that everyone was considering dead and done. There is such a wonderful feeling of going into an event and playing a format and thinking to yourself, damn, as soon as this event ends, I will never have to play this format again. Leaving the venue at YCS Atlanta 2016, a convention center staffer stopped me to ask a question about a card he found on the floor. Hey, you play Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah. I found this card on the floor. Is it any good? Spellbook of Miracles. No one uses it because it's hard to activate. It isn't worth the payout. Oh, because it has no points? No, I mean, it summons a monster from the graveyard, but you need other cards to use it, so it's too hard to pull off. Do you like the Blue Eyes Black Dragon? The Blue Eyes White Dragon, and he's cool. He's got 3,000 attack points. 3,000. Yeah, that's cool. This is what talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! To my parents feels like. When Marcello flexed on all of us by saying that he has a house in France during the 2019 EU WCQ. I guess I get to do my my Marcello story here. At a regional in like 2017 or 18, it was right as Totally Awesome was being released. I was undefeated on Trickstar, and who was my second round opponent but Marcello? I sat down across the table from him and I went, why are you in Brooklyn? And he said, I decided to come to an NA regional to get my NA invite because the events are easier. And I said, well, that was quite mean. And then he 2-0'd me. My favorite memory of YCS Charlotte was beating Danny and his friends. Fuck off. I will never forget how wild the 2020 Australian National was. Yeah, this was a crazy tournament. Oh my God. I cannot believe that I topped this. But as you can see, I did with Exodia. My bubble round was versus Jeff Tiedrich. And my round 9 was versus Sands. I will never forget when in an event, a guy tried to charge shipping fees to a friend when they were face to face. Yeah, it's like $5 with $4.99 shipping. That's crazy. Don't worry, I'll pick it up out your binder. Our shop had a kid who was 11. I played Lyrilisk against him round 1, and he goes first. This little goblin turbos Slifer turn 1. He does it game 2 with the quick play and Dark Ruler. I'll never forget YCS Dusseldorf. So YCS Dusseldorf was a European event that got so big, they had to invent YCS Dusseldorf 2 when they specifically told Pack not to do this exact thing. You're welcome, by the way. I was playing at 2011 Nationals when a guy walks up and says, value? I said, value for what? He said, your sweatshirt. At my local's OTS store, there was always someone who signed up under the name Bruce Wayne and then never showed up. Joker trying to give you the round 1 buy. I've poisoned the city. If Batman isn't back in 10 minutes, he'll go to the losers bracket. It was my first Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional. What made me remember that day is because when I got deck checked, I failed it because I was missing a Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. I had no idea how this happened until I remembered it got mind-controlled round 3, and my opponent never gave it back. I was an anime girl cosplay and ended up talking with this one guy, and the instant he realized I was trans and not a cross-playing femboy, he started going on about how lonely he is and asking for my number and trying to convince me to go to his local sometime. That was me. Thank you, Rebby. That's correct. Never in my life have I performed so many actions to lose an unlosable match than our final round at YCS Vegas 2019. We were in a round to determine if we day 2'd or not, and that's kind of an exaggeration. We would have been on the bubble and maybe could have day 2'd if we won this match, but it was our only shot to do so. Alex opens his grip. It's got Droll in it. We're just like, oh my God. Exception starts his turn. He does some stuff. Alex goes, Droll! Link off for Lingaribo. Phantasme. And he goes, ch-ch-ch. And then Ediception's teammate taps him on the shoulder and goes, we are both under Droll. We call a judge over and we get the game loss. And I do want to point out, no one on that team was sharking. It was like a couple of maybe 15 seconds after it was done. Most of the replies are the well-known memes, so I thought I'd bless with some competitive deep folklore staples. The Australian DGZer that stole an alligator from the hotel pond at an event and then got banned for posting pics of himself smoking weed with it online. Carter Wicks, I watched someone at a YCS say out loud, so now I'll use E-Telly for Wicked Witch and Mask of Restrict. And they literally just summoned Wicked Witch and activated Mask of Restrict from deck. I'll upstart Goblin for Aluber, and then I'll activate Branded Fusion. Response? All in all, I am so happy that paper events are back. So much of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has so little to do with playing the game and so much with seeing your friends and having a good time. And thank the fucking Lord for that, because the game sucks. like, you gotta go back and watch Cyber Chase. It does not hold up. We liked it as kids because it was like, whoa, Cyber, that's nuts. But it's not good. And he's like, it is good. And I'm like, I promise you, I have seen Cyber Chase recently and it's not good. He was like, how recently have you seen it? This lasts like maybe 2 minutes.